Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Matt, and I'm back with a brand new video for you all. I wanted to put together a quick video to show off the OpsBuddy Switchlist building tool and just a couple of the features in the tool. This is going to be shorter than the previous video I did. The previous video went through basically everything that the tool has to offer, and this one I'm just going to build a simple switch list for you just to show you how quick and easy it is for you to build a switch list within the tool, and maybe give you an idea whether or not this might be something that you might find interesting. So we'll go ahead and get into it. The first thing I wanted to do though was to show you how to save the tool and use it for yourself. I've had a few questions about this, and it's really pretty simple. All you really need to do to get started is to have yourself a Google account. If you have a YouTube account or if you have a Gmail email address, you've already got yourself a Google account. And with that, you can then save and start using this tool for yourself. This is built using something called Google Sheets, which is a lot like Microsoft Excel. It's just a product that is web-based and built by Google themselves. So if you click on the link in the description below or in one of the other places you can find it online, you will end up here, which is a preview of the tool, and you can click around in a little bit and get an idea whether or not you want to use this. And when you are ready to save it, start using it for yourself, just go up here in the upper right and click on the blue Use Template button. And once you do that, it will save it to your Google Drive, and then you can start editing it yourself. And if you want to access it in the future, you just go to drive.google.com and you'll find it right there, ready to go for you to then continue to use from there on out. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get to building ourselves a switch list. And I'm going to start here on the roll table. This is kind of the brains behind the switch list building tool. This is what's going to determine which industries get worked and what type of work is going to happen at an industry at any given time. And this is highly flexible, and it's something that as I've continued to develop my operating sessions out a little bit more, I've added to this and I've adjusted it and made it work for myself. So I need to roll a D20 dice in order to make this work, and I use a D20 dice system. You can use a pair of 6-sided dice if you want. You can use a random number generator, whatever you want to use. Normally I roll on a piece of paper, or I print this out on a piece of paper and I roll in physical dice on my tabletop. That's just how I like to do it. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to use a virtual D20 dice system, or D20 dice roller, I should say, that I found on the internet, and that will help us determine what our switch list is going to end up being. So let's go ahead and start this here. So with Pacific Steel and Recycling, will this industry receive cars this session? 16, yes it will. And we'll roll again to determine what we're going to be doing with this industry. 3, we're going to receive one boxcar, and we'll also pull the gondola from the industry if there's one sitting there already. So it's something to kind of keep in mind as we move forward. And then because I selected a boxcar, I'm going to roll again to determine which boxcar or which door that boxcar is going to go to. 17, we're going to go to door number 2. All right, next industry, a little bit of a simpler industry, not as much going on there. 8, we will not be working bell, lumber, and pole in this session. Next industry is Lehigh Cement. 6, we will be working the industry. And let's roll again. And we will be receiving 5 2-bay hoppers and 1 PD hopper. It's going to be a full day at the Lehigh Cement Company. Let's roll again for Pondery Newsprint. No, we will not be working Pondery Newsprint this session. And actually, I'm going to make an adjustment here at this point, because this isn't being determined by computer or anything. This is all stuff that I'm kind of doing by myself. So if I really do want to work the newsprint industry this session, I can ignore this roll and just roll again. So let's go ahead and roll again. And we're going to get an 11. So yeah, we will work it this time. Okay. And let's roll to see what we're going to end up doing. And that's 1. We receive 1 tank car. You know what? This is actually what I did on my previous operating session. So I'm going to ignore that again. I'm going to roll one more time to see if I get something I like a little bit better. 16. 3 box cars, paper box cars, and 1 tank car. Okay. That's going to be a pretty busy switching job there as well. And then finally, Vagan Brothers Lumber. No, we will not be working Vagan Brothers this session, which I think is a good idea considering just how heavy some of the other industries are this session. And we come down here to session modifiers. And session modifiers just gives me just an extra opportunity to add a little more randomness to my session. I can choose a role if I want to or not. Mostly what I have here is just the potential for additional cars in some specific areas. Because Lehigh Cement and Ponderay Newsprint are pretty full for this operating session, I may not choose to roll here, but for the purposes of this video, let's go ahead and roll and see if anything happens. And I get a 20, which means I get 2 additional cars, and we're going to see which one gets those additional cars. 7. So we're going to get 2 additional hoppers at Lehigh Cement. So Lehigh Cement is going to have a very busy operating session. Cool. All right. Well, let's go ahead and call this good, and let's start to build out our switch list at this point. All right. This is what my switch list looks like at this point in time. This is actually left over from the previous operating session. I got cars all over the place. On the left-hand side, you see staging tracks. You see all the cars that I have in staging. In the middle here is the actual switch list itself. This is what I'm going to be building out. And on the right-hand side, these are where cars are currently existing on the layout from the previous operating session. And I can start to move stuff around at this point and get things where they need to go. First thing I need to do is empty out Boyer Yard. That was emptied out last session, so these cars are no longer in Boyer Yard. They're all back in staging where they should be at this point. So we're going to go ahead and take all these cars here and put them where they need to go. So these center beam flats, they're going to come over here into staging, into the area of staging that they normally go. And in order to do this, I just kind of select it. I put my little cursor over the top corner of it so it turns into a hand. I can then drag it and then drop it where it needs to go. So the KLN tank cars are going to go right there. My paper box cars, they go right here. I got some cement hoppers, they go right there, and a pressure differential hopper will go right there. Alrighty. Now everything that I've picked up in the previous session is sitting here in Boyer Yard, so I can go ahead in my switch list here in the middle, select all those cars that I picked up, and then stick them here in Boyer Yard. Cool, like that. And then anything that is in the set out section, those are actually sitting now in their proper spots. And so we're going to go ahead and put them where they go. So all these cars in the cement industry are going to go where they are going. Ponderay Newsprint has a tank car sitting on track 3 now. And the lumber mill has a couple of cars sitting there as well. Let's go ahead and move those into the correct spots. All right, now our switch list is cleared. All the cars are in the proper locations, and we can start filling up this switch list again with new cars and where they need to go. So let's take a look at our first industry, Pacific Steel and Recycling. We're going to get 1 box car, and we're going to pull the gondola if that is available to pull. So let's go in here at box cars, and let's just pick a random one that we're going to stick in here from the box cars that are in my staging. And let's go ahead and take this one right here, and let's take it here in Pacific Steel, and that's going to door 2. And I can see here I've got a box car sitting in door 2 already, so that's going to actually get picked up. And I've got a gondola sitting in the yard spot, which my instructions tell me if it's available, let's go ahead and pick it up as well. So I'm going to move them out of the location and into the switch list at this point. Okay. Come down here, Bell Lumber and Pole, we're not working. Let's go to Lehigh Cement. In Lehigh Cement, we got a couple of things going on. We have 5 2-bay hoppers and 1 pressure differential hopper. And then we got 2 additional 2-bay hoppers. So we're going to have 7 hoppers coming to the Lehigh Cement, and then 1 pressure differential hopper, which is a lot of hoppers, but we can make this work. Okay, let's come over here to the cement hoppers. Let's grab 5 of them, and they're going to come over here to track 1. Track 1, spot 1, we're going to leave open for the moment because we're going to fill that up again. Let's grab 7 that we have available in staging and stick them out here. And you can see these bottom 2 are actually in off spots. That's because I can only fill up so many cars within my track 1 spot, and the additional ones have to go to the off spot. So these 2 bottom ones here, they're going to the off spot. They'll be spotted back there come the next session. But yeah, okay. Pressure differential boxcars, grab 1. Or pressure differential hopper, grab 1 and stick that in the set out section. And there we go. That's ready to go. Let's go ahead and grab the cars we're going to pick up. So we're going to pick up the ones that are currently sitting out there right now. So those will get picked up, and then they'll be taken back to the yard at the end of the session. Awesome. Okay, that's Lehigh Cement. Let's take a look at Ponderini Sprint. 3 box cars and 1 tank car. Awesome. Let's go ahead and go over here to our box cars, and oops, we're gonna need, our paper box cars. Let's grab 3 of those guys. Let's grab these 3 right here. Why not? Why not? And then one thing I didn't do is determine which tank car I'm actually going to grab, because there's 3 different kinds of tank cars that can go into the tank car track. So let's go ahead and roll to see which one of these is going to be a 12. 12 is going to be a chlorine tank car. All right. So good thing I caught that. Okay. Let's go over here to our chlorine tank cars. Let's pick one of them, and we're going to drag that in here. That's going to go to track 3. Cool. All right. So the way that I work it is, if I'm filling up a track, I'm taking cars off that track. So anything that's in track 1, I'm picking those up, and then I'm picking up that KLN car from the last session and from track 3 as well. Sweet. Alrighty. Let's take a look at our roll table. We are not working in any other industries, and we've already taken care of the session modifier. So that is it. This is a full operating session. We've got a lot of work going on here in USC with all these cars that are going to be swapped around. This is going to be a fun one. So let's go ahead and copy this whole switch list. So select the whole thing, Command C. And then we are going to go to this tab right here, and for our local ready for print, and then select this switch list here, which is left over from the previous session. Command V. Now it's been updated, and I can come up here to my print button, click on that, and boom, ready to print. And that, my friends, is everything you need to know to build a switch list using the OpsBuddy tool. As you can see, a lot of options available from the roll table. You can really make each session feel unique and different from each other, and very quickly you can build out a switch list on your own and move cars around from the industries and the switch lists and the staging, and do so in a way that's not confusing, that doesn't get you screwed up or anything like that. It's really easy to change and update. Yeah, I mean, these are all reasons why I really like this tool and really find it very useful for my needs, and hopefully you find it useful as well. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I will be sure to answer as many of those as I can. And hopefully this really quick and dirty video gave you an idea of just what you can do with OpsBuddy, and maybe give you some ideas for your own layout. Thanks again for watching this, and I'll see everyone in another video.